Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone online. I would like to thank very much Heritage Malta and Tony Casa for the invitation to this event in this very beautiful location. I have to say, after months of rain in the Netherlands, I'm really happy to have a bit of sun, even if it's for one day. Today, I would like to introduce the activities on 3D done by Europeana and the data space for cultural heritage. I hope you are aware of Europeana. Europeana is an initiative from the European Union. So we work with over 3,000 cultural heritage institutions across Europe, so ranging from museum, archive, audiovisual archive. And with all our activities, we contribute to the digital transformation of cultural heritage institutions across Europe. Since 2 years, we are in charge, so the Europeana Initiative and a large consortium in charge of the deployment of the data space for cultural heritage. As part of the new program from the European Commission, Europe is at the moment deploying data spaces in different areas. You will have a data space for media, for tourism, which could be interesting for Malta, and many other areas. So we are responsible for the one on cultural heritage. And as part of the requirements for deploying the data space, we had to work on 3D. So the 3D mandate, in fact, is one that has been given to us by the European Commission through the European Commission recommendation 2021 to all member states. So those recommendations published in 2021, what they are saying, basically they urge every member state to digitize in 3D all monuments and sites deemed at risk, and 50% of the most physically visited cultural heritage monuments, buildings, and sites by 2030. So last year, 2023, we looked at what was happening in Europe. And in fact, the take-up of 3D was very slow. So because those targets are for 2030, there was a need to create a momentum around 3D and support cultural heritage institutions in starting the 3D endeavor. So what we did is organizing the Twin-It campaign. So the Twin-It campaign was initiated in June last year and was organized through the three presidencies of Europe, starting with Sweden, following with Spain, and now finishing in June under the auspices of the Belgian presidency. So what was the call of actions of Twin-It? It was a simple call. It was a call to EU member states for a pan-European collection of 3D digitized heritage assets. So what we ask is, we ask every member state to submit one 3D digitized assets that fall under the categories of the recommendation. So either an asset that is deemed at risk because of human or nature-caused risk, an asset that can be among the most physically visited and therefore at risk because of this, or an asset that falls under the categories of currently under or under-digitized cultural heritage assets. So this was a big ask, knowing that in many countries we were starting from zero. So the campaign was launched in June, as I said, and then the deadline was May this year to submit all those contributions. There was a lot of bumps on the road, but we managed to get there. So we collected a very rich and diverse collection of cultural heritage assets in 3D, ranging from small assets to very complex monuments, assets of different material, marble, ivory, that also represent different challenges for 3D digitization. Malta was the first country submitting an asset, choosing the Cittadella of Gozo, located in the town of Victoria, on the island of Gozo, and we received this fantastic 3D model. Then we celebrated the achievement of the Twin-It event in an event in May 14, so last month, which was organized under the auspices of the Belgian presidency, and it was opened by the Commissioner Thierry Breton and the Flemish Minister President Jan Bon. So during this event, we got a lot of political visibility, which is very good for culture in Europe. The event was also attended by 10 ministries of culture who presented the achievement of their country. We also demonstrated throughout this event the different type of application of 3D. So the campaign now, this event is one of the last event organized as part of the campaign since its end in June at the same time of the Belgium presidency. And there are still a couple of things that are going to happen. On June 26, we will launch a virtual exhibition showcasing all the TwinIt submissions that we have received. And we will also publish the TwinIt Call to Action, which is a set of recommendations to boost 3D in Europe. The campaign was the very visible part of the work that was done. But in fact, the campaign had also for an objective to really bring 3D towards the data space. So the work that had been done is really to streamline 3D in many activities we are doing. So ranging from updating the infrastructure of Europeana to support 3D, updating our standards ranging from the data models to the licensing framework to the quality frameworks to bring in the requirements of 3D. So this is what we have started to do. Of course, the work is still ongoing. So we are, for example, updating the Europeana Data Model, which is at core of the data space to support the requirement of 3D, such as including paradata, which is very important in the context of 3D. We are also surveying all the European data infrastructure that can be used by member states to host 3D material, because that has been signaled as very challenging for many countries. We are continuing to publish recommendations and guidelines around 3D to help cultural heritage institutions to start the work around 3D and also to orientate them towards the resources that are available to them. And we continue to celebrate the achievement of the cultural heritage professional around 3D by publishing a series of blogs on our website, Europeana Pro. This work has started, but it's not finished. So in the coming years, so we are at the moment defining our business strategy for the next 2 years and then in the future. And the idea is really to continue to support the member state in achieving the goals for the recommendation 2021. The first objective is to support member states in achieving those goals, including 3D. Just to give you an example, for Malta, the targets for 2030 is to provide 18,000 3D objects by 2030. It's also providing 46,000 items in high quality. So by items, I'm speaking about other type of object, not 2D digitization, not necessarily 3D. So those targets are very ambitious, and that's why we need to deploy activity to support the member state and you, Malta, in reaching those targets. So we will develop, so we have a network that can help achieving that. And I'm very pleased to hear that Malta is about to launch an aggregator that will support Maltese institutions in providing data into the data space. But there is also a larger network with the network of professionals, the Europeana Network Association, that all of you professionals can join and also support in developing activities into other areas, such as reaching out to education or discussing issue of copyright around 3D, for example. So I welcome you to apply and become a network members if you are not one already. We will also continue to develop campaigns, so probably developing another campaign that will not focus on 3D, but still bring topics that can help member states working towards those recommendations. And I hope that the result of those campaigns will also allow to fertilize other countries in supporting effort around digital transformation of cultural heritage. So I would like to thank Malta for the contribution to the data space so far as part of the Twinit campaign and also in regularly sending data into the data space. And I'm looking forward to more contribution, to more collaboration. Thank you very much.